Everything is about to change for the Florida Panthers. A number of players who were placed on injury reserve and LTIR are going to be returning in the next week and a half, guys. Big updates on Tarasov, Gadjovich, Kulikov, and more on this episode. Will it turn the season back around and help the Cats make it to the playoffs? That still remains to be seen, but getting healthy is the goal. We will be talking in a different episode about whether or not the Cats should make a run for the playoffs or should they just try to rest their guys, be healthy next season, get a draft pick, and hope that next year they'll be nice and healthy and make a big run at Stanley Cup Finals. Again, thank you so much for joining me on this episode of Panthers Digest, guys. I'm your host, Greg Andrews. So close to getting to 4,000 subscribers right now, ladies and gentlemen. We are one sub away. And again, just to show you guys the numbers, 62.5% of you are not subscribed that are watching the videos. So hit that subscribe button down below. It just takes 2 seconds. Always comment, like, share. I do appreciate all of you. Hype up the video, help it really reach out there to a larger audience. I appreciate all of you. If you have any questions, put them in the comment section down below, and I will answer them. So, to start off, here we go. A lot of people are questioning, well, where was Brad Marchand? What happened to him? He didn't play in a game and a half. Is he healthy? Well, the reason why he went to the Olympics in the first place, well, it's his last one. I don't think he's going to be playing in 2030. I doubt it. And it was said that he had recovered sufficiently enough to head overseas and play for Team Canada and play in that last Olympics in his career, more than likely. But a lot of people were saying, well, you know what? Was he being overworked? Was he still playing hurt? What is going on? And we saw in the final, he played a little bit, but was pretty much ineffective. The way that he was skating, controlling the puck, things like that. Now, I know it's like one all-star team against another all-star team in USA versus Canada, but still, he didn't look the same. And I do agree with Jeff Merrick when he's like, yeah, it looked like something was off. And maybe it is his last game of the season, maybe not. I don't think that Merrick is correct here. Obviously, he writes in Ontario, so he's not going to be all for the Florida Panthers. Obviously not, but I don't think he's playing like it's his last game of the season. I just think something is still ailing him a little bit, but I think he's going to come back knowing he'll be on the line that he likes to play with, guys he's familiar with, instead of being with a group of individuals who he's played around, some he's played with, in Reinhart and Bennett, but still, you know, I'm not going to speculate too much. I'm not going to say he's injured, but he might still be a little bit hurt. But the go at here is that he will be back, from what head coach Paul Maurice has said. Same thing for Evan Rodriguez, who was ill and did not play in that game against Tampa Bay, and Aaron Ekblad had an undisclosed injury in that game, but all three of them are 100% good to go when they play on Thursday in Toronto. I believe it's in Toronto. It might be home. Excuse me if I'm incorrect, but you could also see here it talks about Matthew Tkachuk. I just think he had a good Olympics, but he wasn't his normal self. I just think it's more of, he hasn't played a lot of hockey yet. He's still getting his bearings. I think he'll start to turn into more of that Matthew Tkachuk that we know. I mean, he had a couple of really sneaky passes that almost made it onto the tape of his teammates, but not quite. So he's still got a little bit of work. I think when he comes back, they have, a couple of days off right now until that game on Thursday. So we'll see what happens. But I'm not overly concerned about this. I think Jeff Merrick's taking this a little bit too far for what it really is. I think Marchand will be fine. I think Tkachuk will be fine. We got Erod back, Ekblad back. But here we go, getting into the thick of this right now. Well, a lot of guys practicing over the weekend, which is great news for the Cats. And the biggest one of all, well, Aleksander Barkov is out for the season. It is really, you can look at any insider stating he is out for the season. He's not going to be coming back regular season. If they make the playoffs, he might return, but right now it's not looking like he's going to play all this season because it doesn't look like the Cats are going to make the playoffs unless they do something remarkable in their first 5 games back, which that 5th game, ironically, is the day before the trade deadline. That's going to be for another episode that I will get into either later today or possibly tomorrow. But this is a big one. Daniil Tarasov, the injury that he went down with, he had to be carried off the ice. Well, the good news is he's ready to rock and roll, guys. He practiced this weekend. right next to Sergei Bobrovsky, and Bob was playing with some new pads, breaking that stuff in over the break. So that's good news. Hopefully he's mentally rested, physically rested, and is going to turn back to the Bob that we saw. Again, the trade rumors with him, I will bring that back up in another episode that has to tie into what's going to happen in these first 5 games. Again, that will come out later today, possibly tomorrow. So Tarasov is good to go. Great news for the Cats. Thank goodness, because if he was gone, man, we were in trouble because we wouldn't have a backup. And who would you turn to in the AHL? I don't know. Seth Jones, still don't know. He's the biggest question mark right now, which is not a good sign for the Florida Panthers. That means his injury was more significant than I think anybody had originally thought, that went from day to week to being on IR. Still uncertain. We do not know what is going on with him. Not even a word about him being at practice or anything. So wait and see approach. I'm not too concerned about it. I think, again, they're just kind of waiting. Let's see what happens in this first week back. How is he feeling? All of that. But nothing yet on the Seth Jones front. And like I said, it doesn't make you feel comfortable saying that. But yeah, still uncertain on his return. As for Dmitry Kulikov, well, he should be back. You just saw right there in the beginning that first picture that I showed you. Oops, sorry. This one right here, wearing that yellow non-contact jersey. The good news is he is skating. They are saying that he's going to be skating for this, going into this week. Hopefully get out of that non-contact jersey. The same thing for Nosek and Gadjovich, which I will get into in just a moment. So Dmitry Kulikov, there are his numbers. Only played 2 games and got hurt. Same thing with Tomas Nosek. He was playing with a non-contact jersey on as well. So some of the good news is he should be back as well. Same thing with Jonah Gadjovich. They say all of these guys will be non-contact this past week, this week, and they might get released for contact around the Toronto game, which is this Thursday. So that would still keep them out a little bit longer. And this is all from Paul Maurice saying if they can get through the week, and then somewhere towards the middle to the end of the road trip, there's a chance that they could all come back into the lineup. They've been gone for a long time, guys, so don't rush it back. You've got to make sure their confidence gets back. They feel good on their feet. They're controlling the puck. They can take hits. All of that needs to kind of come and build for each one of these guys. So that is great news for the Cats. Remember, they have a gauntlet of games. They have 25 games in 49 days. So a lot is going to be happening in these 49 days, and these guys are going to have to be ready to go. And if they're not, don't take the risk, with all of that hockey in such a little span of time, risking too much injury. So we don't want that to happen. So Tobias Bjornfot is another guy who ended up not coming back, got injured in one of those last couple of games before the Olympic break. But the good news is he is going to be back. So they're going to need all these guys in order to make sure that they're going to try to make some sort of run and be healthy and stop bringing up all these guys from the AHL. So what's really interesting here is looking at all the players that they've brought in the lineup for that last game against Tampa Bay. I mean, there was a slew of players. There were 7 players who were not on the team last season that were playing in that game against Tampa Bay. Petrie, Sobrengo, Cunnin, Schwint, Vilnius, and Hovorka. They were all in the lineup against Tampa Bay. Still put up a damn good fight against a very solid Tampa Bay team that took advantage, knowing that. But still, these are the interesting things about those 7 guys. Petrie and Cunnin were free agent bargains, and we brought them in here to try to resurrect their career. Tarasov signed with hopes that he could back up his buddy, Sergei Bobrovsky, his mentor. Sobrengo and Schwint were waiver wire pickups. So, big there. Vilnius and Hovorka were both brought up from the AHL, from the Charlotte Checkers. We know that. And, yeah, guys, I mean, a lot of changes are going to be had. And with Rodriguez and Ekblad, by the way, he's okay to go too. All of these guys are ready to rock and roll, get back on the ice, start playing for this team. So they're going to start getting healthy. And what's going to happen is Balinskis will probably stay in the lineup, I believe, when Kulikov does return. And that means Petrie will be more of that healthy scratch. So there's a lot of interesting things that are happening with this team. And what's even more crazy is that it looks like Sobrengo and Bjornfot are going to be that third defensive pairing when we face off against Toronto on Thursday. Or sorry, one of the two will be on that third line with Petrie when they face off against Toronto. And then The lines will start to look a little more familiar with Evan Rodriguez being back and Brad Marchand being back as well. But we'll see. I'm not going to say that Marchand's 100% return, even though it's reported that he should be okay. Like I said, same thing with Erod and Ekblad. But we'll see how things go. I'm sure we'll get updates from Paul Maurice. So with those two guys back, your top three lines are pretty much going to be something we've seen already. But that fourth line will probably be Vilmanis, Schwint, and Samoskevich. So that's what we're looking at possibly for the Thursday lineup right now. Top three lines we're very familiar with. We already know what's going on with the defensive pairings, minus Seth Jones. So a lot of stuff I'm throwing at you guys right now. And the biggest thing, though, is guys are getting healthy. They're going to start coming back. Unfortunate for Barkov. Doesn't look like he's going to return for the regular season. Again, a lot of things in terms of trade, stuff like that, is going to be reliant on what happens in these first 4 to 5 games before the trade deadline, which is March 6th. So all the rumors that we're going to start to hear in the next coming days, guys, don't think that they're going to pull the trigger immediately. Because, again, if there's some magical way they can make a 5-game win streak happen, guys, we're right into the wild card playoff. But again, I don't want to get into a lot more than just that, because there's a lot of other things of what should the Cats do that I want to get into. Tank, try to make the wild card playoff. What do they try to do? Should they try to make a big trade? Should they not try to make a big trade? Like, I mean, there's so many questions. Rest your guys, play your guys. That's something for an episode I'm going to put out again later today. Hopefully, if I get too busy, I do apologize. It will be out tomorrow. I'll probably do a double episode tomorrow. So anyways, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Some good news in a lot of this. So an update about 7 different players. Good news. We should start seeing this team come back together. Let's hope Seth Jones can come back in the next couple of weeks and the other guys remain healthy. Same thing for Sam Reinhart. A lot of questions surrounding his health, but I'm sure he's going to be all right. So anyways, guys, stay tuned for the next episode. We'll be talking about the Olympics. The Panthers doing very well. 7 players medaling in the Olympics, which is awesome, and a bunch of other things in terms of trade scenarios, stuff like that. So stay tuned for that. Appreciate all of you. Again, I'm Greg Andrews. This is Panthers Digest. Stay tuned for another one, and go Cats.